Hello, this is your first agricultural TV station in the nation. My name is Joshua Ishaya. Welcoming you to yet another episode of the program Aqua Farming. Today on the program, we'll be looking at Nigeria illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing (IUU). The fisheries sector is crucial to Nigeria's economy for contributing a considerable amount of percentage to the nation's gross domestic product. It is noted that fishery is a vital economic sector as regards to employment, enterprise, development, food security, and nutritional value, most especially for rural people in recent times. Illegal, unregulated, and unreported fishing (IUU) activities have been threatening fishery industry in Nigeria and West African states at large. It is estimated that Nigeria loses about $70 million annually to IUU fishing. It is against this backdrop on today's episode of the program Aqua Farming, we'll be looking at the causes of IUU fishing in Nigerian coast and West African marine space. Today's program will also examine the dynamics and actors involved in IUU, as well as suggest best way to manage aquatic resources offshore Nigeria. Take a look. As the world population continues to grow, it becomes increasingly important to ensure global food security. Fish are a critical part of marine ecosystem, providing nearly 3 billion people with at least 20% of their protein intake. In the past decade, however, illegal, unregulated and unregistered fishing activities around the world have threatened food security, biodiversity and national security, particularly in developing countries. About 90% of the world fisheries are fully exploited or unexploited, meaning that marine species are being caught at a rate of exceeding generation potential. Every year, between 11 and 26 million tons of fish are extracted illegally from the world's ocean. In view of its importance to local and national global development, the problem of illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing was included in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) in 2017. SDG Target 4 calls on all states to end overfishing, illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing by 2020. While SDG 14 Target 16 calls on states to eliminate subsidies that contribute to illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing. Illicit fishing activity poses significant threat to Nigeria, which is surrounded by some of the most diverse, high-yielding waters on earth. Marine resources and around the continent provide an important source of revenue and food for millions of people. Marine fisheries in Africa provide direct employment to about 2.8 million people and indirect employment to more than 14 million. It was estimated that the continent's share of the global illegal, unregistered and unreported fishing catch was about 4.7 million tons of fish, valued at about $10 billion and representing about 80% of reported catches. Illegal, unreported, regulated fishing is widespread in Africa, with an estimated 1 in 4 fish caught illegal. The continent is surrounded by 3 ocean basins: the East Atlantic Ocean, the West Indian Ocean, and the Mediterranean and Black Sea. Of the 54 African countries, 34 have a coastline, placing much of the continent at risk of illicit fishing activities. In East African countries with coasts along Indian Ocean are estimated to lose approximately $400 per annum in London and nearly $1 billion in related processed products. In the north, 5 countries border the Mediterranean Sea, which has been labeled the most overfished sea in the world. West Africa in particular has regularly been cited as the epicenter of illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing, with studies suggesting that more than 40% of the catch is illegal. It is estimated that the region loses about $1.2 billion annually to illegal, unregulated fishing, with Senegal, Guinea and Sierra Leone losing $300, $110 million and $29 million annually respectively. It has been suggested that eliminating unregistered, unregulated fishing could bring 300,000 new jobs to the region. Several countries outside Africa, including China, Taiwan, Russia, South Korea, Spain, France, and Thailand, have been known to engage in illicit fishing activities along the continent coasts. Increasing sophistication, internalization, and convergence with other crimes make the fight more pressing than ever, but also more difficult. Like most countries in West Africa, Nigerian coastal waters contain diverse species of fish, which contribute to the food and economic security of its people. Small-scale fishing operations contribute 80% of locally produced fish and support the livelihoods of 24 million Nigerians. 73% of those involved in fisheries in Nigeria are women. The overall GDP contribution from fishing, small-scale and industrial, was 0.84% in 2019 and 1.09% in 2020. The fishery sector is therefore a route to socio-economic development in Nigeria, but it also faces threats. One of these is environmental pollution, primarily from the oil industry. Pollution degrades maritime environment, destroys fish stocks, and reduces the catch. Another threat is illegal fishing. As our previous research has found, Nigeria loses $600 million annually to illegal, unregistered, unregulated fishing done by foreign vessels as a result of inadequate manpower to police the country's vast coastline. According to a news report, Nigeria spent $800 million annually on fish importation, being the 4th largest importer of fish in the world. Nigeria imports frozen fish varieties including mackerel, locally called Titus, herrings, locally called shawa, horse mackerel, locally called kote, blue whitening, locally called panla, and Argentina salos, locally called ojuyobo, as well as the popular croaker fish. Most of these fishes are taken away by foreign countries that are into fishing from Nigerian territorial waters and re-imported by Nigerians at exorbitant prices. Some of our local breeds, especially from the family of pelagics, are destructively harvested, mechanically mashed to produce fish meal and fish oil to be used to feed for farmed fishes inland in Asia and Europe. In return, those farmed fishes are exported to African and Nigerian market. According to a document titled Fisheries Crime Activities in West Africa Coastal Region, cited in 2019, Nigeria in 2018 imported fish worth $71 million, $56 million, $43 million, and $174 million from Ireland, Russia, Norway, Netherlands, respectively. The document further revealed that over 450 Chinese vessels fish illegally in Nigeria and the entire coast of West Africa. This is aside vessels from other countries and artisanal fishing in Nigerian inland waters, ways in areas such as Bado and Ekpe in Lagos State, as well as coastal areas in Bayelsa, Aqua and Cross River states connecting rural waterways to the Gulf of Guinea. Newsmen visited Bado area in Lagos, which is the main research site of the Nigerian Institute of Oceanographic. Local narrated how several vessels travel illegally at night unchecked. According to residents, we are not allowed to go near the water to fish, but at night we see people fishing and no one arrests them. Ocean Atmospheric Administration, on its 2015 Biennial Report Congress on illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing, identified Nigeria as the sixth nation, including Colombia, Ecuador, Mexico, Nicaragua and Mexico, in which illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing is very rampant, and as such is threatening the current effort to secure long-term sustainable fisheries as well as to promote healthier and more robust ecosystem. It is against the above explanation as regards to the activities of illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing in Nigerian territorial waters located in the wide coast of West Africa that the study intends to explicate, situate, and contextualize the drastic implications of illegal, unregulated, unreported fishing in Nigerian waters and her population. One of the core objectives of the study is to suggest the best way to manage aquatic resources in Nigerian territorial waters and the vast West African marine domain. The Illegal, Unregistered, Unregulated Fishing Index provides the following definition of IUU fishing. Activities as classified as illegal fishing if they are conducted by national or foreign vessels on waters under the jurisdiction of a state without the permission of the state or contravention of its law regulations, conducted by vessels flying the flag of states that are parties to the relevant regional fisheries management organizations but operate in contravention of the conservation and management measures adopted by the organization and by which the state are bound or relevant. Provisions of the applicable international law and in violation of the national law or international obligations, including those undertaken by cooperating states to a relevant regional fisheries management organization. Unreported fishing refers to activities which have not been reported to the relevant national authorities in contravention of national laws and regulation or undertaken in the area of competence of a relevant regional fisheries management organizations which have not been reported or have been misreported in contravention of the reported producers of the organization. Finally, a catch is considered unregulated if fishing is conducted in the area of application of relevant regional fisheries management organization that is conducted by vessels without nationality or by those flying the flag of a state not to the organization by using entity in a manner that is not consistent with other contravenes the conservation and management measures of that organization or areas for fish stocks in relation to which there are no applicable conservation or management measures and where such fishing activities are conducted in a manner inconsistent with the state responsibility for the conservation of living marine resources under international law. This theoretical perspective has since fertilized into popular theoretical framework widely used in contemporary crime studies. The basic assumption of organized crime is an instrumental behavior. It means to an end. It is an instruction of social climbing or socio-economic advancement. It means accumulate wealth and build power. Often ascribed to this theory is the notion that organized crime thrives in contexts where the government capacity to detect, sanctions and deter crimes is poor, where public corruption is endemic, and where prospects for legitimate livelihood opportunities are slim. A situation whereby most of the government across West Africa states fail to execute their consequential responsibilities, especially in terms of provision of social welfare security, therefore the reluctant effect of poverty, hardship, and economic stagnancy. West Africa stretches through 3,075,820 kilometers across 16 nations in West Africa, coastal zone from Senegal in the west to Nigeria in the south, with a population of almost more than 288 million meters, with its coastal stretching from the Strait of Calibrali to Cape Town in South Africa. The entire coastal of West Africa has some of the most diverse and economically relevant fisheries locations in the world. These include the Canary Current and the Benguela Current marine ecosystem, which extend from northwest Africa to Guinea-Bissau and from western South Africa to Angola. These are the highly populated with tuna fishing grounds. The region also has a maritime exclusive economic of the Atlantic Ocean with abundant fish stock. The huge fish stock provides huge economic benefits to local transporters and Asian markets. Fishing in Nigeria can be divided somewhat simplistically into the large-scale sector and the small-scale sector. The small-scale sector, characterized by artisan fishing methods, is largely undertaken by Africans to supply local markets, although some fish caught by local small-scale fisheries is traded regionally, such as the dried or smoked fish from Senegal that is sold throughout West Africa and Central Africa. Small-scale fisheries support large number of Africans involved in fish processing and trade. There are estimated 12 million people employed in fisheries, either on a full-time basis or part-time, seasonal basis. While men tend to do the majority of the fishing, women can make up the majority of those working in the post-harvest sector, which makes the fishing industry so important for the food security of many women and their children. Together, the industry represents an important and flexible source of employment and income for vulnerable low-income Africans. Alongside this small-scale sector, the large-scale sector targets a range of species, predominantly for export. Despite effort by development agencies beginning in the 1960s to establish African old industrial fisheries, today almost all of the large-scale industrial sector comprises vessels owned by companies from the European Union, Russia, Eastern Europe, or Asia, with China, South Korea, and Japan being the most significant. Most of these vessels operate on the short-term license on an annual basis. Some operate on a character basis license, as sometimes linked to fisheries access agreement established by the government of foreign fisheries nations or fishing company association with African governments.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the program Agri Today.
Under fishery and aquaculture, we train over 700 women and youth.
Food and agriculture production systems are facing unprecedented challenges from an increasing demand for food for our growing population, rising hunger, malnutrition. This program is designed to bring to you new happenings and innovations in the world of agri. I remain your host, Amin Khadija.
Hello and welcome to the program where agricultural production is explored at its best. Application of adequate fertilizer is needed so as to add to the nutrients. Hence, the best soil for the planting of ginger is the sandy loamy or clean loamy, and nutrient needs to be seriously added to enhance the growth and productivity. I am Hilda Homsem Frantuan.
Hello and welcome to yet another interesting episode of the program Back to Farm.
First thing I do, normally I will clear the farm, then I will look for my that is the chemical I will use to clear the grass. Yes, if you have little capital and you want to start farming, there is joy in farming because no matter how, you no go to market and buy. When you farm, you eat from it, you dash or you give someone.
My name is Joshua Ishaya.
Media Trend is a program where we touchlight different stories trending on social media, just to keep you abreast with all the happenings in the entertainment world and beyond.
I don't watch Big Brother Nigeria. I'm not a fan of Big Brother Nigeria, but if that is what you choose, that's fine. That's fine.
Right morning, people say that his music is that bad, but man, I think he's good though. Anything he wants to do, he should pursue it.
Well, I remain Euphemia Ijoma, your host.
This is Kitchen Drive, where we explore all kinds of kitchen, buka, restaurants, and we get to know different delicacies.
You cover it, you put a little water that will take the soup.
And feel the fun of saying, have a nice day.
This is Market Flow on ARCN TV, and today I'm at the Duse Market in the FCT, and it's filled to the brim.
When price of bag of rice before was 7,500, now you are buying 38,000.
Before they sell less 800 naira, cause now everything now in cost less now are they selling 3,500.
Yeah, I go for aluminum pot because that one you go use that one naturally and all that. Tire.
You have been informed about the prices of foodstuff you need to buy this week. I am Fatima Suleiman.
It is no longer news that agriculture has continued to dominate the economic activities in Nigeria, especially at a time when the present administration is trying so hard to move the economy from crude oil based.
Where researches are carried out by the research institutes, our products at the college are the extension agents that will carry the message back to the farmers wherever they are.
Organic agriculture in Nigeria, it's at its infancy and it's gathering momentum, and a lot of institutions are contributing their various quota.
The gross domestic product is also being increased. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of the program Agri-Economy. Join us again same time, same station next week.
Today on Aqua Farming, we are in faraway Niger State. We'll be talking to a fish farm caretaker, and is going to be telling us the profitable way to farm fish.
The smoke sizes, they range between 400 to 600 grams. For the processors who process them, smoke them, fold them, package them in cartons, and move them to other neighboring states. Then here are the broodstocks. Actually, in the main farm, we have something far bigger than this.
Are these male?
They are both male and females.
Local feed, and the fish are within the range of 2 months. Give them at most, if it's my own, I give them what? 50-50. That's 50% CP, crude protein, 50% what? Carbohydrate.
On that note, we come to the end of the program Aqua Farming. My name is Joshua Ishaya. You're still on to Agricultural Research Council of Nigerian Television. The program has been Aqua Farming, and today on Aqua Farming we're looking at IUU, illegal, unregistered and unregulated fishing. The colossal spread of IUU fishing in West Africa shows has significant social, economic and environmental impact on the West African sub-region. The study finds that countries from Asia, Europe and even local fishermen massively uses illegal fishing methods like bycatch, dynamite fishing, bottom trawling, overfishing and illegal shipments. With that, we come to the end of this episode of the program Aqua Farming. I'm sure you must have learned one or two on how you can actually know unregistered and illegal fishing in Nigeria. See you some other time. Bye for now.